please. The lovely music you've been enjoying has been played by David's sister, Susan Mahoney. Susan, thank you so much. Well, folks, good afternoon and welcome. Now, Jan, I want you and David to kind of look like you like one another. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for being here. Good afternoon, friends and family. Good afternoon, ohana, as we say in Hawaii. We are so glad to welcome you here. David and Jan welcome you here today. Reverend Nettie and I welcome you here today to bask in the experience of love, the love between these two. I'm Reverend Margie Hyatt.
And I'm Reverend Nettie Spiewak.
And we are your co-officiants today. It also happens that we are cherished and dear friends of these two, and so honored and glad to be here for this ceremony today. And so you don't have to wonder, I am standing on the groom's side.
And I'm on the bride's side.
But we are all here on the side of love, all of us, to experience the joy, to bask in the light that is love, and to give witness today to the miracle of a deep, resonant, true love that has been unfolding for almost a year when two hearts, two minds, two lives collided in an absolute miracle of discovered love, and now the journey to fulfilling that love. If you don't know the story of how these two met, you ask them later because it's rich and worth hearing. I marvel at what God had to do to bring these two lives together. Their lives and their history and their spiritual heritage have shaped them with influences that you will see manifest today in our service. Their backgrounds cover traditions of Christianity, wide and varied, Jewish faith, and Indian faith traditions. And you will see all of that on display and experience the sacred rituals from these foundational faith traditions. And I plan to stir in a touch of Hawaiiana today. So we will be steeping in this joy. First, let us join together heart to heart and steep in the power of prayer as I offer pule on this occasion. You take a deep breath with me and breathe into that resonant space of your own being that is the God of your understanding, the spirit of the universe, the divine presence of your own heart's knowing. Become still in this space, in this time, and open to that vibration of love that is here and now present. We give thanks for the miracles that have unfolded in the past, knowing that this life moving forward that these two join today will be strewn with miracles all through their future to come. Thank you, God, for your presence, your power, your movement, your essence in their hearts as they join on this day. Thank you, God. And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
Amen. So in the Vedic tradition, there is a prayer called the Gayatri Mantra, which is roughly 8,000 years old as far as we know. And it is a prayer to the light to illuminate our intellect so that we can discriminate false from real. And Jan requested that we start with this, as we have started every service for over 20 years. Om Bhur-Bhuvah-Swaha Tat-Savitur-Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo yo na prachodayat. Om Bhur-Bhuvah-Swaha Tat-Savitur-Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo yo na prachodayat. Om Bhur-Bhuvah-Swaha Tat-Savitur-Varenyam Bhargo devasya dhimmahi Dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you.
The poem I Love You by Roy Kraft. I love you not only for what you are, but for what I am when I am with you. I love you not only for what you have made of yourself, but for what you are making of me. I love you for the part of me that you bring out. I love you for putting your hand into my heaped up heart and passing over all the foolish, weak things that you can't help dimly seeing there, and for drawing out into the light all the beautiful belongings that no one else had looked quite far enough to find. I love you because you are helping me to make of the lumber of my life not a tavern, but a temple. Out of the works of my everyday, not a reproach, but a song. I love you because you have done more than any creed could have done to make me good, and more than any fate could have done to make me happy. You have done it without a touch, without a word, without a sign. You have done it by being yourself. Perhaps that is what being a friend means after all.
Thank you. Some months ago, as we began to envision what this day would look like, we thought it would be the four of us standing on a beach in Hawaii. But life is full of curves and turns and invitations to be open to what wants to unfold. But on that beach, it would be a lovely, bright, sunny day, warm breezes moving the palm trees overhead, our feet in the sand. You're free to imagine all of that with us today, if you'd like. Whatever sparks the sense of beauty and appreciation and joy in all of our hearts, be in that energy today, in support of what is taking place. You may also touch that place in your life where love has manifest a divine partner for you to experience love with, to grow with, to challenge and be challenged by. That's the journey of love. We are grateful for that experience that stands here in these two hearts today. Aloha is a very important word in my home of Honolulu. It's much more than a greeting of hello or goodbye. It encompasses a way of life, a spiritual love that speaks to a spiritual philosophy that speaks to the very heart of love and God and all that is good in the universe. The word is made up of two components, alo, which is the spirit of all that is, that emanates throughout the universe and created everything. And ha, the very breath of life, the breath of God. So when you say aloha, you are speaking of that energy of the infinite and grace and love. And in living together, it brings in the components of doing so with kindness and love, certainly, and compassion, maybe a touch of patience now and again. Those things that make life easy and graceful to live together. Not just for a couple that stands here to be married today, but for all of us in the world. So I invite you to hold that essence of aloha in your heart for these two, for yourselves, and for our world today. In Hawaii, one very important tradition is that of the giving of lei. It's also typical in the Vedic tradition, only they're called mala. Either way, the materials are strung together from nature and imbued with the spirit, the mana, the spiritual energy of the one who made it with love. And these beautiful garlands have been made by Reverend Nettie with much love and blessing them for their lives. So, David, I will ask you first to take this one and hold it for a moment. And this one to you, my dear. The tradition of the lei is it's placed over the head of your beloved. An important piece is a kiss on each cheek in the intention of sacred reverence, of joy, of honoring. Whatever the gift of the lei is bestowed with, hold that in your heart as you now place it over your head. And David, if you'd like to give that one to your beloved. And don't forget those kisses. A lei is a circle of beauty, without beginning and without end. A lei encircles the head and rests on your heart. A lei delights our senses and inspires a sense of wonder. A lei is as fragile as this moment and as enduring as the memories you have created this past year and create today and create as you build the future together. I'm glad for you to hold this both Hawaiian and Indian tradition as we begin today, so that you are encircled by the flowers which represent all of the ohana that are dear to you, friends, family, here, present now, watching us online. We're glad to have you here as well. And all of those who couldn't be present, whether by geography or their absence from this plane. All who come and gather in love are welcome here this day. I always tell couples when I'm planning a wedding that my job is done if I've made them cry. And it usually starts with me, may I have a Kleenex, please? I knew I couldn't get through this day without. The alternative is I'd be bouncing up and down here on the stage, so we'll just have a little tears and we'll go for that. David and Jan, it's my belief that no person or agency can really unite you today. That is something that's already taken place in your heart over these last months as you've grown to know one another and trust the love that was growing between you. That uniting has already indeed taken place, and you simply are here today to give witness in front of your family and friends and in front of God. And we all are honored here to be witnessed as you say the words that you choose to speak to one another. So if you will.
Not quite. Oh. We're going to do the vows after the song.
The song comes
and
now.
Yes,
and your message.
We're co-officiating, so we have to kind of work it out.
Yeah, good thing we have support, as you said.
When it's your own friends, you lose it, right? You lose it.
Oh, yeah.
I was tearing up when they walked down the aisle.
Yeah.
So Margie just covered the part that I hoped she would, which is the messages of love and wisdom that you talk about at any wedding with any couple. And I knew that our couple today could teach us many things about faith, love, and wisdom. So I'm going to stick to the subject that I know best, Jan. Around the time we were ordained at the new seminary in 2004, we had a singing group of 5 of us called Soul Fire. And we developed a performance version of a song, no, it's not the one I'm going to sing, that's taken from Genesis 12:1, and it's God's call to Abraham, which in Hebrew is Lech Lecha, which translates as get out. Get thee out of your comfort zone, of the place you know, and I will take you to a land that you do not know, and you shall be a blessing. So it was a call to follow your star and have faith in the journey. Jan was always one to follow her star and go where her guidance led her, even if at times it seemed to make no sense to others, and sometimes even to herself. She followed that star more than once, and in 2002, she led her from Seattle to Connecticut to attend seminary in New York. And then 10 years passed. Around 2013, I began to invite Jan into sharing my immersion into the great epics of India, starting with a televised version of the Ramayana that's available on YouTube. I knew better than to tell her that it was going to be 300 episodes. I pulled her in by skipping straight ahead to showing her a hopeless romantic, the beautiful garden meeting of, and later lavish wedding of, the hero and heroine Ram and Sita. For years after, she watched that episode time and again. She was hopelessly invested in them as a couple, and that included the actors who portrayed them. She was overjoyed to find out that the actors were a couple in real life as well, and still are. Jan loves the happy ending. She told me that as a child, she rewrote the end of TV shows and stories to make them turn out like she wanted. But for a long time, that happy ending eluded her. Once we'd finished the Ramayana, it was followed by literally hundreds of hours of watching DVD sets of other mythological dramas, and it's truly a wonder that neither of us speaks fluent Hindi. Somewhere along the line, we noticed that in these ancient narratives, there is a consistent story element. The characters are always royal, but inevitably, they're thrown out of their cushy lives in the palace to spend long, harsh periods in exile in the forest. 14 years in one case, 12 in another. Sometimes more than once. So it's a case of enrolling in the school of hard knocks. Our code for this mythic pattern was out of the palace, into the forest. Out of the forest, into the palace. And we came to think about it many, many times. The forest, apart from being a place of exile, is also reflective of a Vedic stage of life where one gradually withdraws from the world, one step before total renunciation and merger with the divine. The forest is uncertainty. The forest can be dark. You may lose direction. You learn to really rely on the divine and to let go, let go, let go. When we packed up to move from our individual homes in Connecticut to live in a Golden Girls setup in Illinois, we said we were going to the forest, but there were many jokes about us having failed Renunciation 101 because our trip to the forest required a large truck and a storage unit. For a mythical 7-year cycle, we truly had a season of forest testing, uncertainty of dwelling, finances, food, and even health. A season of letting go of everything we expected for how our lives were to turn out. But there were many unseen compensations: new friends, surrogate families, experiencing community, and deep immersion into the Indian studies we loved, and not to mention a lot of opportunities to dress up in saris and other finery. There is truly no ego-busting tool more powerful than difficult times. The hammer of our life softened our edges and humbled us and cracked us open. The forest, indeed, Jan would say, we're getting a PhD in equanimity, in acceptance, in maintaining inner balance and connection to the divine no matter what. And for our little household, as for so many, COVID presented the ultimate and biggest hammer of all. Every season has a purpose, and nothing remains static forever. In the months that led up to what was to be our last year in Illinois, Jan and I both said to each other that we knew the end was coming, but we just didn't know how it was going to happen or where we would go. Very suddenly, I headed east to Florida to join my brothers, and Jan at loose ends made her way back to Washington State, a place to which she had many times unsuccessfully tried to convince me to move. During the depths of sadness that our time of proximity together was truly over, I remember saying during a walk, when we moved here, we didn't know the good things that were waiting for us. We could not have imagined the new friends in the community here in Illinois. Maybe something's waiting for you out there. It was a good mindset, but it was hard to adopt. I don't think that individually either of us fully realized we were being released from exile and returning metaphorically and physically to the palace. And not in a million years did either of us see that Jan was about to have her fairy tale ending. I may need a tissue. From the moment Jan told me about David, everything felt right and natural and good. It was definitely a case of who'da thunk it. For the people here who have known Jan for a long time, I am sure you will join me in agreeing we've never known her to be more relaxed and never seen her happier than this past year. So thank you, David. Life's special blessings are sometimes hard won. Both Jan and David came through seasons of great trial and great loss. The gift of loss is that it gives you an incredible appreciation of the present and of what you have, and it reminds you not to waste one moment of gratitude and appreciation. For all of us who believe that if you keep the faith, the seasons will turn and it's never too late for a happy ending, they are a beacon of light. So I want to offer a familiar song. And you're welcome to join me on the chorus. I've changed some of the words to suit the occasion. And I think I need to be muted on the laugh.
To heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast off our old forms, a time to build a home together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to dig deep, a time to kick back, a time of plenty, a time of lack, a time of faith, a time of doubt, a time of learning what this life is all about. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. Whoops. And we got stuck. Last verse. A time of joy, a time of pain, a time to move on, a time to remain, a time to say we never shall part, a time to share the love that's in our hearts. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
Now, it's time to speak what you choose to your beloved. He's going to fight over the mic. It's already beginning.
Just turn it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Do my tech.
I never imagined in my wildest dreams someone like you. Someone, you're not perfect, I'm not perfect, but we are perfect for each other. In the same quirky ways, we have the same goals in life of compassion and kindness and helping the world. And we are working on that, and we'll continue to work on that for the rest of our lives. You have the same values and goals and integrity and ideals that I have. You like me. No small thing, admittedly. And you love me. You support my ministry. You support my music. You support me as a teacher and as a person. You genuinely want the best for me. And you'll do what you can to make that happen. We have the same sense of humor. No small thing. You like to cook, I like to eat. You even like my cat. And I love your dog. We've created a beautiful little family. You and me, and our animal companions. We have plans for the future of where we want to go and what we want to do and how we want to contribute to life and to each other. I cannot imagine a better ending. Happily ever after, I didn't think it was possible. And that's not to say that our life will be perfect and without pain and without challenges. That's not real. But what I can say is that there's no one else on this planet I would rather traverse this life with than you. No one better for me to do life with than you. So David Allen Leinweber, this is what I promise you. I promise you that I will continue to work on being the very best version of myself that I could possibly be. Not only for myself, but for you. I'll be the very best companion and partner I can possibly be for you. I will love you and I will support you in being all you need to be, in being for the highest and the best good of you. I will love you and support you in being that. And together, hand in hand, we will travel this lifetime for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health. I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Jan, I wasn't looking for a partner, but I sure found one. There's so many things I love about you. You sing like an angel, which is why I call her Angel, by the way. You make me want to be a better person for you. I love who we are together as a couple. Our energy, our conversations, just being together with you is a miracle for me. Together we raise each other up, both spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And I thank God that we met every single day of my life. Couldn't find anybody better on this planet to spend the rest of my life with. And my promise to you is that I will be the very best person that I can be for me and for you. And I will love you and cherish you and support you for the rest of our lives. I promise to stick with you through richness, poorness, in times of trouble, in times of joy and happiness. And when we separate at the end of this life, we'll join back together in the next and continue the work we're doing here. I love you truly, deeply, and passionately. And thank you for being in my life. And thank you for agreeing to be my wife.
David, while everybody's just breathing deeply at the beauty of the last few minutes, would you hand me your rings, please? Thank you. Asked to have a close look at these rings later, everyone. These were a surprise to a certain lovely young woman. No surprise that she said yes. They were created in the spirit of love. And I invite a blessing on them this day, that that love continues to burn bright through the precious metal and the beautiful stone that they are. That their perfect shape represents the perfection of love you two experience in one another. So it is. Thank you, God. And David, if you'll take the rings of your beloved. Yes. Are you repeating after me? All right. As a ring has no end,
As ring has no end,
neither shall my love for you.
neither shall my love for you.
I choose you to be my wife
I choose you to be my wife,
this day and evermore.
this day and evermore.
And Jim, David's ring. Are you repeating after me? As a ring has no end,
As a ring has no end,
neither shall my love for you.
neither shall my love for you.
I choose you to be my husband
I choose you to be my husband
this day and evermore.
this day and evermore.
And so it is. Reverend Nanny.
In Indian tradition, you may have seen women wearing red powder, which is called kumkum, and it's made from turmeric and lime. The lime turns the turmeric red, and it's placed in their part. You might have seen that in the hair. And in modern days, a lot of women don't wear it anymore, but it's only worn by married women. And it's red partly because red is Shakti, red is life, red is vitality, red is the energy that brings in creation. So the only time that a man puts kumkum on a woman is when he's marrying her. And forever after, that signifies her status as a married woman. And so I have in here, you're going to keep it facing up.
We'll get it.
Okay, and with this coin, he's going to take some of the powder. So as we get ready for the final blessing, and this is borrowed from the Jewish tradition and from our tradition as interfaith ministers, which takes the best of many worlds. This is my ministerial stole. It has the symbols of all faiths on it, and we wrap it around the couple. And then Margie and I will deliver the final blessing. And we're going to do it. It's the priestly blessing that Moses was instructed to give to the people, and it's used at the end of every single service in both Jewish and Catholic traditions. So we're going to go back and forth between the Hebrew and the English, and we say this. Yivrechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May the Lord bless and keep you.
Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May the Lord shine her countenance upon you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom.
May the Lord turn her face to you and grant you peace. Oh, David and Jan. The word delight has been very active amongst all of us who've been gathering and preparing for this day, and truly, this is a delight. And here's the delight we've all really come for at this moment: to witness that you have come together, both of you, on this holy and joyful celebration, to exchange your own commitments to one another, to exchange rings before God and all of those here present and watching. So therefore, under the authority of the Spirit of infinite life and love, under the authority of the wisdom of your own hearts, and oh yes, under the authority of the state of Washington, I now pronounce you partners for life, husband and wife. Would you like to kiss your beloved? And the crowd roars. Turn and face everybody. Family and friends, Ohana, it is my honor to introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. David Allen Leinweber and Janet Lee Kraft Leinweber. Aloha. You are all invited to share in a reception following next door in our reception area here at the church. Have some nosh, enjoy some stories, talk stories, we say in a way, and have a champagne toast. And housekeeping, for those who haven't been in this building before, you go down the hall to my right, and that's where the facilities that could be important while you're here are located. So blessings on you both, David and Jan.